Good evening. I'm Nate Pooterball with your sports update. Breaking news in college football, Michigan head coach Sherrone has been terminated with cause after an investigation found credible evidence he was engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. In a statement, AD Ward Manuel said this conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Associate head coach Biff Poggi has been promoted to interim head coach. In other college football news, former Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles has been let go by Penn State. He will not be part of new head coach's Matt Campbell's staff. Knowles is reportedly heading to Tennessee to take their defensive coordinator job. And another former Buckeye returns to the state of Ohio. Former offensive lineman Mike Jacobs has taken the head coaching job at Toledo. This update brought to us by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. Together to serve you better, schedule today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Wednesday. I am Brandon Beam hanging out with our guy, A-Ward Sports, Austin Ward. We got Nate Dogg behind the glass. Austin, a happy Wednesday to you, my friend. Slow news day today, huh?
No, sir.
Whoa.
Some days you come to work and it's like, man, there's nothing to talk about. Other days there's too much. Today it's going to be an easy hour of radio.
It is going to be an easy hour of radio.
It's going to be a fun hour.
Let's rewind the clock to last Wednesday at this time. Austin, Justin Zwick, and I were doing a show. We were getting ready to talk to you from the Woody coming up at 6:17.
Yeah.
And it was D-Day for Brian Hartline leaving for the University of South Florida. So within the last week, you have had Brian Hartline, your offense coordinator, leaving, one of the best wide receiver developers, recruiters, everything in Ohio State history, one of the best assistant coaches ever, leaving, going to South Florida. All right, again, this is just a 1 week kind of recap of what's been going on here.
Going all the way back to last Wednesday.
Brian Hartline leaves, all right, he's gone. Then you get the decommitment.
Penn State tries to hire Matt Patricia.
Well, that was later in the week, maybe. I don't exactly know.
It was Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
All right, so they're putting the late press on Matt Patricia. Penn State is. You got a lot going on in that building. Chris Henry says, hey, guys, pump the brakes. I need a lot of time to just hang out, relax. My main recruiter, developer, he's going to be gone. I'm not necessarily sure where I want to spend my future. That's all right, Chris Henry Jr. It's okay. No worries. Everybody understands that. We get that. Pump the brakes. Decide where you want to spend your future at. Fast forward to Friday. You get the announcement that Chris Henry Jr. ultimately picks Ohio State. Fast forward to Saturday. Ohio State loses the Big Ten championship game to Indiana. All the discourse surrounding that. And then fast forward to today, where this has nothing to do with Ohio State, actually.
It does.
I don't know. But Sherrone is now out as the head coach of the University of Michigan. What a crazy week.
You skipped over Jim Knowles going to Tennessee.
That just happened. We're going to get to that later in the show. But he also, before he went to Tennessee, got fired by Penn State and was not going to be retained. There's a whole heck of a lot happening.
Also, on Sunday, Ohio State got the 2 seed in the college football playoff. On Monday, Julian Sand was named a Heisman Trophy finalist. You can't leave it every single day.
Today, he co-hosted The Notebook.
He did. You can watch him on Snap Judgments as I upgraded my co-host to a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Your old co-host is going to join us at 6:17, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, look, to me, why this is going to be, as you said, a fun and easy hour of the Buckeye Show is that all those other things that happened over the previous 6 days that happened to Ohio State stressed me out. Today, I'm watching other beats have to scramble and watch their whole lives collapse around them. Because the one thing that didn't happen in everything that you mentioned, yes, Ohio State lost the Big Ten championship game on Saturday. They didn't lose their head coach. The stability of that program was not threatened at the very top.
Things.
And boy, and what a shocker it is when you have Ward Manuel in Michigan coming out and directly saying there was an inappropriate relationship in the football department. And they already had plenty of ammunition to fire Sherrone Moore.
He was on a show cause penalty.
He was on a show cause penalty that was going to go through 2027. And they're like, you know what? They didn't have to say why, but they did anyway. And it also, in my opinion, makes Michigan look worse that they are saying that, because they didn't just find out about this today or yesterday or last week. They let the signing period go through. They let Michigan hire former Ohio State defensive coordinator Kerry Combs on Saturday. Yeah. They were letting him build
also forgot about that in the week.
So you're talking about signing period. You're affecting the lives of these high school kids that are committing to the program under the guise that Sherrone Moore is going to be their head coach at the top.
What about the active roster that is currently still playing for
active
Michigan?
Roster? They hired Kerry Combs under the premise that he would be working for Sherrone Moore and uproot his life, and also taking a pretty significant risk based on where he's worked and grown up and spent his entire life to go to the other side of the rivalry, all the while knowing that this was likely what you're going to do in the aftermath. The myth of the Michigan man is the biggest crock of crap that exists in college football.
Yeah, but they wear cool jackets to press conferences that has their name on it, like really cool mechanics jackets.
Maybe that'll be Sherrone's next job.
It's just been a crazy day. It's been a wild situation. Again, as far as the news aspect of it, and again, I think ESPN was the first one to break this. I don't know how much it hurt Adam Schefter, the fact that he was actually the one that had to break this. But here's what it says. Pete Thamel, Dan Wetzel, Adam Schefter. Michigan fired Coach Sherrone Moore 4 cars. Oh, they've actually expanded this news article since the last time I checked it, like 20 minutes ago. Fired Coach Sherrone Moore 4 cause Wednesday after a university investigation found, quote, credible evidence that he was engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Quote, this conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. That's what Ward Manuel said. Biff Poggi was named interim coach. Michigan is slotted to play Texas in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl on December 31st. The news ends Moore's Michigan coaching career at 17-8 with his final game, a 27-9 loss to Ohio State to conclude a 9-3 season. The 39-year-old had gone through 2 years of his 5-year contract with the Wolverines head coach, and the school's firing for cause means it isn't planning to pay nearly the $12.3 million it would have owed him on this deal. Now, there's a lot more to this story, Austin, but I think the biggest difference here is when you go to coaches being fired and all these different kinds of things, and we've seen it a lot so far this college football season, right? Like the coaching carousel was a crazy year.
Yeah.
You saw James Franklin be fired by Penn State, not for cause, performance related. You saw Brian Kelly be fired for performance related, not for cause. You do this for cause, that is digging in from the university's perspective, saying, we aren't in the wrong here, you are, and we are not going to owe you any money on this buyout because you are the problem with this situation. So anytime you see a for cause firing, immediately alarm bells start to go off.
I think that this, based on the NCAA investigations for everything previously, makes this as airtight a case as Michigan could ever hope to find.
They could have already got it.
And that's also what I think makes the Michigan athletic department and its university as a whole look worse, is that they were willing to go to the mats to keep Sherrone Moore throughout this entire process until they eventually gave up and withdrew their appeal. And this was not just the first time that Sherrone Moore had been looped in with the Connor Stallions and recruiting violations previously before that. Mm-hmm. But they had defended him. They had continued to employ him. They went, as I said, not just a week ago, they went through the entire season knowing that this could have been the case for them. They were even setting up what games he was going to be allowed to miss. You can't let him not coach against his alma mater. That's unfair. This is absurd that Michigan has gone to this lengths and then decided that they'd pull the plug over this. I mean, I know that it's not a good look, but that everything that's alleged here gives them the opportunity to find another exit ramp that they think might allow them to look better. But to me, it doesn't. It makes everyone involved look worse.
I just, when it comes to the immediate aftermath of it, like we know how volatile this coaching carousel has been. Like you immediately now have to turn to your next decision to who's going to be the next head coach for the University of Michigan. And I think there are a couple examples, Nate. I know you just said in my ear that Deadspin is reporting that Kalen DeBoer is going to go to Michigan. Who knows, right? I mean, we're still very early on. Maybe this
Deadspin still exists?
Maybe this has been in the works for a couple of weeks. Again, coaching searches are weird. We know that. There was one with the Blue Jackets many years ago before you got John Tortorella officially hired as the head coach, that he was in town here for like a week before he was officially announced. I'm not saying that this is pre-cooked, but your options now are limited. You and I were talking about this before the show started. I'm like, I don't know what Kalen DeBoer's situation is at Alabama. They're playing 8th-seeded Oklahoma in the college football playoff, so they got a game that they're getting ready for. Obviously, Alabama is a big-time national brand, great program. Michigan is as well. I know it's the Buckeye Show, but I think we can call a spade a spade. Michigan is a blue-blood college football program. They won a national championship just a couple of years ago. Also,
asterisk.
True, that is a fact. But you've got Brian Kelly out there, and just
Lincoln Riley's got a phone.
Lincoln Riley does have a phone. Jed Fish also has a phone, who is currently the coach at the University of Washington. This has to be a precision strike for them because you do not have a lot of time. Now, granted, they aren't in the college football playoff, so they do have maybe more time than the other 12 teams that are. But this is it's a monster hire. And again, we talk about the jobs that opened, the big-time jobs that were open in Ole Miss and LSU and Penn State. I don't know, Michigan may be the crown jewel of all of them, but we've already seen those teams hire their coaches now. Who knows what?
Well, I bet Lane hasn't signed his contract.
Don't say that.
I was saying earlier, I'm like, I need Lane Kiffin to do the funniest thing ever right now.
Don't tempt him.
Oh, man.
Oh, somebody else wants to hire me? Let's go. I guarantee you that he hasn't signed his contract. In fact, I bet he has a signed MOU that allows him to work, but I bet he could get out of that quite easily.
Are you officially reporting Lane Kiffin to Michigan?
I'm not. Okay. I'm just telling you what I think might happen based on experience. I don't think he would want the Michigan job. I think he does actually want to be at LSU for now. Mm-hmm. But the next time, after Michigan fires this coach, Lane will be involved in Michigan's coaching search at that time.
Hey, this guy lives in Michigan. Birm. He's going to react to the Sherrone Moore news with us coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Fraud in government is a crime, and it robs taxpayer dollars. I'm Ohio Auditor of State Keith Faber, and my job is to catch people that lie, cheat, and steal, report suspicious behavior, and help stop fraud. Learn the red flags, speak up, and protect your tax dollars by calling 1-866-FRAUD-OH.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at onnradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
You get up early on snow days because snowed in is not an option. The Kubota Snow lineup of compact tractors, RTVs, and versatile attachments are built to thrive in the winter. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $4,000. Now through December 31st, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Find your local Kubota dealer at BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb. Coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State National Championship quarterback and former CareSource kid, Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. Seeing that CareSource heart around town, I just knew they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. This is so much more than health insurance. CareSource, today and always, trusted. Visit caresource.com.
The Jackets are back at Nationwide for a battle with the Senators. Live fan coverage starts Thursday night at 6:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Fan.
Modern Office Methods, your authorized RICO dealer, can help your business optimize your print production with a competitive advantage. Our digital printing options will expand the type of paper and substrates from what your business can print on today. Add variable data capability, which allows for personalization of catalogs and mailers, and the ability for short-run label printing, which allows your business to print high volumes of custom labels quickly and on demand. Want to learn more? Start with a print assessment at momnet.com. Why risk it? You can count on Mom.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cloudy, windy, rain showers to snow showers. Little if any accumulation on this Wednesday, but it will be blustery and damp. Overnight down to the low to mid-20s with windy conditions and a couple of flurries. Plenty of clouds around and a brisk Thursday with highs only around 30 degrees. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Before we get to Birm, I want to let you know that close to a year ago, I've had my very first weigh-in with Awaken 180. Started a weight loss program in December. Most people wait, that's fine, but I figured why not put it to the test? If I can do this through the holidays, then there's no party, no trip, no tailgate that's ever going to throw me off again. And I wasn't wrong. Week one, dropped 12 pounds by New Year's. I was already down 30 and Awaken 180. It changed my mindset, my outlook, and has changed my life. It wasn't about waiting for the perfect time. It was about starting with a program that won't let you fail. Consultations, they're still available through December. Get yours on the calendar today. Do what we all did and choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Call them 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Right now, we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline and check in with our great friend. He is Jeremy Birmingham. Birm, what's going on with the state school that you call home up north? They had quite the busy day today.
Did something happen at Michigan State University today that I'm unaware of?
Oh, no. Ann Arbor, a different location.
Oh, okay. I thought the Michigan State was the state university of the state in which I reside. I could feel the tremors from 45 miles away. Yeah, pretty great.
You could?
I'm sorry, not great. I mean, it's awful. It's unfortunate that these things happen, especially, a week after signing day. You'd really think that if this was an investigation that had been ongoing, they probably should have, gotten ahead of this before signing day so kids could have had a more, appropriate timeline to respond. But that's just not the way things work in the world we live in, I guess. What's
just kind of give us the temperature up there, Birm, because I think this certainly caught me off guard. I don't know if it caught you off guard or Austin, but I'm scrolling my phone trying to do my due diligence as a show host, trying to keep up to date with everything that's going on. And I did see Adam Schefter tweet this out. I'm like, wow, I had to check like 3 times if it was the real Adam Schefter account. And it actually was. Up there, people are talking, what's the temperature gauge up there right now, coming off of a 9-3 season, given the whole circumstances, losing to Michigan or losing to Ohio State for the first time in 4 years, just everything all kind of bungled together. What's the temperature read up there right now?
It feels like, you guys can tell me if you think I'm reading it wrong, but it felt like when they decided to make Sherrone Moore the permanent head coach that it was a stopgap, and everyone kind of knew it was to get through the NCAA punishment stuff. And obviously you don't really know what will be the resulting reason for the termination, but it's not surprising. A year and a half ago, everyone said as soon as Michigan got done with their punishments, they were going to move on to a different head coach. So that's always been the idea. I think Sherrone probably made it easier, considering if the rumors and speculation about why they let him go are accurate.
It's not rumors. They've actually said that there was an inappropriate relationship in a statement from Ward Manuel. They're saying it out loud.
Well, that's pretty funny, but not funny. It's like...
Sorry, you keep mixing up your words, Birm.
I'm just saying that in the world we live in, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this about college football coaches or not, but it is not generally the most monogamous profession.
Really?
So if you're firing a guy for that purpose, to me, it's an indicator that you were looking for reasons to move on anyway. It's very Jeremy Pruitt-esque when you're just looking for a way out. But clearly, Sherrone Moore gave them the opening to do it, and now Michigan will have a chance to go out and make some waves on the coaching trail. They're obviously one of the best jobs in the country. People are going to want it. I've heard from people that I speak with on the agency side of things that Brian Kelly's name has been bandied about there for the last month already. Certainly people will talk about Kalen DeBoer, who will likely get a call, or Lincoln Riley, or anybody at this point, really. So it is interesting. I feel bad for Kerry Combs, who just took a job there on Saturday. I hope that doesn't change things for him.
Very unfortunate timing, especially because Kerry Combs was, risking a lot of his Ohio and Ohio State ties and credibility to go across the border up and follow you into this great state of Michigan. Oh, sorry, that's not the word that I would use for it. We're all just confused about our vocabulary today. Birm, when you look at this, though, I think any coaching change now comes with this immediate rush to, all right, well, what does their roster look like? It is free game. You can go raid recruits that you had a relationship with, or the transfer portal is going to be open at some point in January. I don't know about the Michigan to Ohio State transfer situation, but for some of these recruits that you mentioned who may have been misled throughout the process as they try and get out of their national letter of intent, is there any opportunity or players that you think Ohio State should or would target?
I think that if Ohio State can find a way to get in contact with the agents who represent Carter Meadows, the 5-star defensive end who chose between Ohio State and Michigan in July, he'd certainly be one that's worth a phone call, a conversation. The Buckeyes don't have a wide receiver coach right now, so it's not like you make a major play after a guy like Andrew Marsh or anybody like that. But offensive line-wise, they've always been very good. There's a couple guys that were freshmen this year that the Buckeyes had a good relationship with, like Avery Gatch up there. But Jordan Marshall obviously is an Ohioan. I don't know if that bridge is burnt, considering the things he said about Ryan Day and Ohio State.
Those comments didn't age very well.
Well, no, they didn't. But that's okay. They don't have to. Basically, this is a team that is built on guys that hate Ohio State, really. So I don't know that there's going to be a lot of really great relationships there to circle back on. But definitely the recruiting class that they just signed a week ago, those guys are going to have some decisions to make starting on January 2nd. I would imagine Michigan moves quickly, but they signed a really good tight end. They signed some obviously good offensive linemen, defensive linemen, but Carter Meadows is the one that's the biggest one for sure.
We've got Birm with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fangus Hotline. From a non-Ohio State perspective, though, Birm, and I know that you just covered it, and maybe bridges burnt too far. From a Buckeye perspective and transferring from guys who are currently on the roster at Michigan incoming to Ohio State, I would have to think, though, there are going to be schools a la LSU, maybe Lane Kiffin, that are going to be talking to agents of maybe a Bryce Underwood or other players on this Michigan roster. Am I reading that wrong?
No, I think every coach in the country is going to be looking at Michigan's roster and seeing what type of outs a guy like Bryce Underwood has in his NIL contracts and that sort of stuff. So, when these things happen out of the blue, it's really just all hands on deck for everybody, because now it's like, hey, let's evaluate all the guys on their roster. Let's rewatch all the guys in their recruiting class. But because this happened a week after signing day, because the new portal rules indicate that a guy can only leave after or 5 days after a new coach has been hired, things are a little bit different, but the transfer portal being wide open on January 2nd means that a lot of these guys are going to have some major decisions to make.
You almost seem giddy, Birm.
I'm not giddy, but hey, the fact is, this is the type of thing where you've watched and listened to the people who cover that team for the last 3 years make up nonstop ridiculous commentary.
How dare Ryan Day do this to Sherrone Moore? How dare he?
He's probably the one that placed that administrative assistant in Sherrone's lap. When you think about it, he's probably the one that did it.
I guarantee you that somewhere right now on a Michigan message board, someone is making that claim.
That would be if they're open. I think they're all shut down at the moment. Not that I've checked.
The timing, though, I mean, that's really what's interesting, because, again, Michigan is going to be able to hire pretty much anybody they want, I think, as one of the top 4 or 5 jobs in the country. So they are one of the few schools that has the cachet, I think, to go after a guy like Lincoln Riley if they wanted to go that route. Or even, Brian Kelly is not someone that I think people would be super excited about. But, hell, I mean, is the Lane Kiffin contract signed? Is the ink dry? I mean, you just don't know.
I guarantee there's no way it's dry. I guarantee you hasn't signed it.
So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting couple weeks. Now you have to get ready for Texas without a head coach, and I'm sure Biff Poggi will be their interim head coach, and a big opportunity for Tony Alford and other guys up there to make an impact. But as we saw with the decision today for Matt Campbell to not retain Jim Knowles at Penn State, like, your staff is your staff, and there's definitely not going to be any tears shed in Columbus if Tony Alford ends up being a casualty of this too, because people will certainly laugh about that. Not me. I like Tony, but it's you walked into a situation knowing full well that there was a lot of unfortunate activities happening when you went there, and now it's ramped up.
Who, Birm, is the one coach that you would least like to see wearing maize and blue?
I think it's Kalen DeBoer. I think, but maybe Lincoln Riley. And I know that you scoff at that because you don't think Lincoln Riley is a good coach. But I'm a big fan of the last 20 years where Michigan has had no offense, because I think it does make it easier to beat a team if they only play one side of the football. And so I'd rather them hire someone like Lincoln Riley, I guess, who then can't coach defense. But the Big Ten has taught Lincoln Riley a little bit about what he needs to win, and you saw the improvement at USC with defense this year. That'll just keep getting better. So I guess I wouldn't mind to see that, because if from an Ohio State perspective, if you're looking for a recruiting class that you'd like to do some digging into, USC is certainly one of them.
Birm, always appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on with us here this evening. How did the Bengals game treat you on Sunday? Because Austin said that you actually terrified him for the first time in his life watching it.
Wow. And here I thought we were all friends.
All right, goodbye.
This is because Austin brought up the fact that I told the people about his dream on the pregame keys on Saturday.
Now we're even. We can move on.
There's now I don't know if you guys are familiar with Justin Spiro, who's a Twitter account who's connected to Michigan State. He just tweeted that Sherrone Moore has been arrested in Saline, Michigan right now. I don't know if that's true or not, but what a fun ride.
All right, goodbye, Birm. See you later.
See you guys. Bye.
There he goes, our guy, Birm, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Lot to get to in that. Also, Joshua Perry, he's going to react to this news coming up with us here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
As much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco. Until you crack it, Jerry. Our 93 are free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco. Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
ECO. We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
ECO.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
It's only been 32 minutes of the show, but I feel like we've done an entire 2 hours.
Can we do 23 more hours?
Right now we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Check it with our great friend. He is Joshua Perry. JP, thanks for the time. Always appreciate it. What's your head feeling like in the last hour and a half or so, given the news that came down out of Ann Arbor? Thanks for the time, JP.
Oh, appreciate you guys. It's crazy, man, because I'm flying back from Las Vegas, went to celebrate my coach going into the College Football Hall of Fame, like, you know, just regular, uneventful travel day, and then my phone blows up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's going on? And I see the news, you know, don't want to make light of anything that happened. Obviously, it's a very serious matter, but, like, one of the more insane things that's gone on. And for the Michigan side of it, who are you going to hire, right? Like, we went through this with Penn State. We went through this with so many schools, but, like, who are you going to hire? They just signed a recruiting class. What does that mean? If you're Ohio State, you're sitting here like, okay, starting to feel good about how we've done in that rivalry. Like, who would you pick that would scare you? Like, what could they do that would maybe make you feel a little bit more uncomfortable than what you feel right now? So, obviously, a lot of layers to it. Pretty serious situation that happened up there, but it's crazy.
Joshua, so you were out in Vegas, with the NFF and that banquet, and that, like, there's a lot of power brokers around in one place out there. Was there really no whisper, no conversation, no gossip about this out there?
There was nothing that I heard, and it's wild. Like, I think you probably are like me, where you hear things through the grapevine, right? Like, there are people that chit chat, and it's hard to vet some of the things that you hear, and so you just log it away. And then you get around the people who would actually have the information, and, you know, unless they have a real desire to leak something out there, you don't get anything. So I hadn't heard anything about it except for kind of some of the people who I feel like traffic a little bit more in maybe internet rumors and are right only half of the time. The things that I'm starting to hear from people who actually are well sourced up there is that this is something that they had obviously been investigating for a little while, and they had known about, and there were rumors starting to come out, and maybe some people had shot them down to try to fully investigate this thing before they made any decisions or started picking up any media attention. So I keep going back to the word insane. Like, I just think the whole thing is crazy to see happening right now.
Joshua, I know that you are going to try your best to keep that objective lens on here and not your Ohio State, scarlet and gray blood here. But when you look at this from that vantage point, and you're just you're saying they want to get all the, T's crossed, the I's dotted on all that stuff up there before they make a final decision. It still seems to me like if this investigation had been ongoing for however long, that they let it go through the national signing period, that they were letting Sherrone Moore hire Kerry Combs seems to me to be some of the most damning part of this, at least for Michigan as a whole. I don't know if you'd agree with that or not.
Yeah, so it's one of those where you don't want to speculate about things, but one of the things I immediately thought about was okay, we're a week off of National Signing Day. I don't think that's an unimportant detail in the timing of where this went down. To your point, I talked to Coach Combs that just saw his wife out in Vegas, right? And I don't think he's taking that job if he understands what's getting ready to happen. So I do think some of this is kind of maybe advantageous to hold on to it. And the Michigan statement, very definitive, where usually these scenarios are we effective immediately, we fired our coach with cause, and that's it. And they're no, we have evidence that we feel like is pretty strong, and there was an inappropriate relationship, and we have zero tolerance. Usually don't get that much. So I think it was this combination of maybe you hold it for a week for timing so you can get past signing day. But I also think that this is a very serious matter for them to have to investigate, and they want to make sure, especially if they're trying to fire a coach for cause, that they have everything lined up. So when he tries to go get his money, they're no, you can't do that.
He is Joshua Perry with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. JP, how would you kind of handicap now this coaching search, right? We saw LSU open up. We saw Penn State open up. We've seen a lot of jobs, a lot of things get crazy throughout this regular season in college football. Michigan, probably the last one to open up for this coaching cycle. Where are you at now with potential replacements for Sherrone Moore? Because I think you had just mentioned it earlier. It is a pretty primo destination job in the entire college football landscape.
I'd be so curious if this thing had opened when some of the other jobs did. I'm not sure there would have been so many coaches maybe willing to sign the extensions that they did, right? This one is up there to me with LSU. It would have been ahead of Penn State. It would have been ahead of Florida. And there just aren't a lot of great options right now. Listen, from the folks that I've talked to, I think the usual names that were kind of there for Penn State at the end, they're going to want to make a run at Kalen DeBoer if he loses in the first round. Is that something that, I don't even know if that's a possibility. He said he's happy down there. They're going to call him. They're going to call Steve Sarkisian, which they're playing Texas in the bowl game, which feels kind of crazy. But, has Sark kind of maybe gotten to that point where things don't feel as good as they used to? And, now they're looking at each other and they see more of the pimples than they used to. They're going to make that call. And then the one guy who I was told would crawl over broken glass to take the job if they strike out on everything else is Jed Fish at Washington. And it's been reported by other outlets that his family hasn't lived there. They don't like being there. His family genuinely doesn't like being in Seattle. And he's a guy who would have died to have the Florida job. Michigan's another job that I know that he covets. So if all else fails, you might see Jed Fish there in maize and blue.
Would you like to talk about Ohio State for a little bit, JP?
I think we could for a set.
What was your real-time reaction to what happened in Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday night, and where does Ohio State need to go from here to get that fixed? We know that they can. We know that they have the personnel on both sides of the football to get that done, but what did you make of that performance and how that might impact the Cotton Bowl starting at the end of the month?
Yeah, 13-10 is just a haunted score at this point. So, once we get past all of that, this wasn't it was not out of the realm of possibility that could be an outcome. If you had really watched Indiana all year, you respected them. But and this is no shade to Indiana at all. But there's part of you where you're like, okay, you get down inside the 10-yard line a couple times in that game and walk away with 0 points. You deserve to lose the ball game, right? Ohio State had the opportunities, and they let Indiana off the hook. And that was kind of the way that I felt after that football game. And I mean that with all due respect to Indiana. So now you're at this point as a team where you have that nasty taste in your mouth. You probably have to let it stew for a little bit. This is the first time that they've lost in a very long time, too. And to be completely honest, I think sometimes you have to feel that. I played on teams where we had won 24 straight games. There was another streak that we had to end my career. It was 23 straight games. And sometimes you think you invented the game of football. And sometimes you think you can't lose. And that's players and coaches, right? And so I think everybody in that room is critical. And as much as it hurts to lose a championship game, in terms of getting your mind right, this might be one of those positives for them to press reset a little bit. So I trust in Ryan Day. I trust in the leadership of the team. And I think that these guys now have a new focus because they have felt losing again for the first time in a very long time.
Joshua, college football playoff bracket came out on Sunday. We've seen a lot of complaining from the Notre Dame side. Austin and I are going to get into that in our next segment in the college football pulse. But just your thoughts and your takeaways. And I saw you tweet at it earlier. You know, eventually I think we're going to get to a 16-team college football playoff, but it's not the moaning necessarily of Notre Dame and ACC that we thought was going to be the reason why we were going to get there. But just your thoughts on the 12-team kind of breakdown that we saw on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I feel where Notre Dame is at, and especially not playing a bowl game. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's soft, that's weak. It's take your ball and go home." Like, there was a coordinated effort from the ACC network, which is owned by ESPN. And then, by the way, if you watch any of the coverage all weekend long, like, it felt very coordinated that they were trying to lobby this committee. So I'm like, no, you can't broadcast my game this postseason. The part that bothered me the most was Ohio State losing in the Big Ten title game, drop a spot, right? BYU loses in the Big 12 title game, they drop. Alabama loses in the SEC title game, and they don't drop at all.
Got smoked,
right?
too.
Yeah. Right. And that, to me, that's the buffer right there, because they're like, oh, well, BYU, they lost the game, so now we had to compare Notre Dame and Miami head-to-head. Well, not if you would have dropped Alabama back behind Notre Dame, where you had them before they beat a 5-7 Auburn team by 7 points. Like, the whole thing is a freaking charade. I'm so tired of it. And this year actually feels like a good year for 4. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech, Georgia, throw them in a 14 bracket, and everybody else go play in whatever games you got to play in. So it's one of the things that frustrates me. I love this sport. You'll never get me to hate this sport. But people make me want to distrust this sport, which I don't like. And so we got to get it figured out.
JP, always appreciate the time. You're the best. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Always appreciate it. And we'll check in again next week. All right?
All right. Take care, guys.
There you go. It's our great friend Joshua Perry with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. I personally can't wait for Neyland North Part 2, whenever that next arises. We're going to get into that in the Pulse coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Does your vehicle need maintenance, but you don't have time? Krieger Ford's got you covered. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or we come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today, only at KriegerFord.com.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with a team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you, in Hilliard and Westerville.
Toyotathon is on. Get in the spirit of the season with a new Toyota. Now through January 5th, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Corollas and Corolla hybrids. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross. Or lease a gas-powered 26 Corolla LE for $199 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years.
We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
'Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family might not listen to you, but we will. Sunday mornings at 8.
It's the Fan Call-In Show presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
You're welcome. It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Oh, my guy, Austin Ward tonight. You can always watch the show on YouTube. And thanks for everybody for popping in the YouTube chat tonight. Always like and subscribe. You have a rather big day coming up tomorrow on the Austin and Birm Show. You co-hosted today with Julian Sand. Birm may one-up you tomorrow on the show.
He absolutely is. He took it personally when I said that I had upgraded to a Heisman Trophy finalist on Snap Judgments in place of Birm today, which was true. I mean, I love doing the show. It is called the Austin and Birm Show, but today it was Austin and Julian Sand. So tomorrow, instead of Austin at the front of it, it is Ryan Day and Birm.
Wow.
So
now that might be a little bit of an upgrade.
And I can't,
not gonna lie,
can't fight it. So he saw what I did. He's like, watch this. I'm going to raise the stakes. So
Ryan and Birm.
Tomorrow, Ryan and Birm Show. They're talking about the Ohio State recruiting class, which didn't get as much attention maybe as it deserved last Wednesday.
Why? What was going on last Wednesday?
There was a lot of other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So you don't want to miss that one. I hope that you watch the beat every single day. But
what time's that coming out for the fine folks tomorrow?
It'll
on the YouTube
be
channel?
on at 5 a.m. So whenever, but at any point after that, you don't have to catch it live. You don't have to wake up early at 5. It's on YouTube. You can get it any time of day.
971 The Fan.
97.1 The Fan YouTube channel, 10 TV's YouTube channel, 10 TV Plus, Apple, Spotify, Roku, anywhere you get podcasts. It's on all those places.
We may even use some of the Ryan Day sound with Birm coming up on tomorrow and or Friday's show. Nate, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, in an alternate universe, there is a show tonight going on where we're talking about Jim Knowles being fired all show from Penn State and heading to Tennessee.
Yeah, I made wrong on my promise because if you were with us last night before we got to Buckeye basketball, Austin and I sat here for the last 90 seconds of the show and said, tomorrow we're just going to make fun of Notre Dame for the entire program.
That was going to be on the program, too.
It was. And we were going to have fun with that. We just heard from Joshua Perry. Again, you can always go back and listen to the podcast, watch the YouTube show if you missed him. And it was going to be a fun little day. Then we obviously had breaking news with Sherrone Moore being fired from Michigan. But yes, this was also big news from today, because Penn State and their new head coach, Matt Campbell, who came in, and we just heard Joshua say, like, listen, when you bring in staffs, like, your staff is your staff, right? And James Franklin obviously did not last the entire season over there in Happy Valley, and Jim Knowles finished out the season with Penn State. Was reported that Matt Campbell is not going to be retaining his services as the defensive coordinator. So that's the news that I saw earlier today. And then, like, fast forward 3 hours, Josh Heupel said, you know what? That guy's too good to be true. We're going to bring him down to Knoxville and have him be our defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Volunteers. I can't wait. I don't know what the college football playoff looks like. I don't know what non-conference schedules look like. I know we got Bama and we got Georgia coming up on the schedule for Ohio State. We'll see if those games are actually played or not, given the circumstances that Bama canceled a game with South Florida. Maybe they're just scared of Brian Hartline. I don't know. But, yeah, Jim Knowles hired at Tennessee. It didn't seem like he was on the free agent market that long, Austin.
He was going to have plenty of suitors. He was trying to get in touch with them as far back as September. Definitely.
He was trying to get in touch with them in January of last year.
Jim Knowles trying to get a job while he's already employed with someone?
Yeah, can you imagine that, Nate? It's a new thing. It seems like it might be a trend. But, Tennessee reaping the benefits here a little bit, because I imagine that Josh Heupel is going to get a tidy little discount because Penn State still owed him $3.1 million for each of the next 2 years. That was the amount of money that lured him away from staying with the reigning national champions in a program on rock solid footing, and for a head coach that was not named James Franklin. So that is stunning how quickly he has sort of fallen out of the national graces that, he was the toast of college football at the end of that playoff run.
Yes,
and Ohio State wins.
And he did a great job here in Columbus.
He did. And sometimes, like the way that this worked out for him in Penn State, some of the bloom has come off that rose, but he still knows a lot of football. He's a very good defensive coach. We all know that. But it was amusing to me to look back. I was reading some of the stories about when he got hired. I was looking for some of the actual contract details to see how much Tennessee might get as a discount here. And it was like, well, here's the bonus structure. Everyone was so excited. This could be worth up to $4 million a year for Jim Knowles, because bonus for getting to a bowl game, bonus for winning the Big Ten, bonus for getting to the college football playoff. Nah, none of those things, sir. And now you're out here looking for another job.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how fast things move in the college football world. Just if I can just digress here for a second.
Please do.
I did think it was weird, and this came down a couple of days ago, and maybe Justin and I were doing post-game show, and this came down that the rumor started to be floated that James Franklin was adding additional pieces to his staff. I gotta say, it's the weirdest move I've ever seen that Virginia Tech is hiring back Brent Pry as one of their coordinators. Brent Pry was the one who was fired as the head coach from Virginia Tech. And I know these guys have a prior relationship, James Franklin and Brent Pry, but imagine, just put this in Ohio State perspective, okay? Like Ryan Day, take Ryan Day as the head coach, all right? Just because he's the acting head coach and he's the example.
Oh, you're going to regret doing it this way.
I know I am. Well, let's use Wyoming. Who's Wyoming's coach?
Jay Sawvell.
All right.
Former defensive coordinator.
Let's imagine Jay Sawvell. All right. Jay Sawvell gets fired for going 3-9. Go
They
Pokes.
went 5-7, okay?
All right. Well, not 3-9. All right. Didn't do enough to make a bowl
so
game.
Get fired at 5-7 right now.
Yes. So Jay Sawvell gets fired middle of the season. And then Wyoming hires Brian Kelly. And Brian Kelly then in the offseason returns to then coach and be a coordinator the immediate following year with his team that just fired him. I don't know. I saw that in my mind about exploded. I'm like, that's one of the weirder. I know that coaches are tight-knit communities and they always look out for each other, and it is a very close bond that those guys share. I'm like, and imagine being coaching for the actual team as the head coach and then coming back in a coordinator role. What's the deal with that buyout? How does that even work?
How's that offset language work?
I don't know.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I have no clue.
I would love to find out more about that. I mean, that's crazy.
Right?
He should just be getting the full amount, shouldn't he?
He should. And then rehired on a new contract.
I think he has to be paid the full amount.
I do too.
Based on the offset, because Virginia Tech would be hiring him for paying him the rest of his head coach money and his new deal as the defensive coordinator.
I know. That's what I told him. My brain about exploded. Nate, we've got about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go here. What else you got for us?
How about we just make fun of Notre Dame for the next 2 minutes?
Okay.
They were out whining again today about not making the playoffs and the ACC bashing them and why would they attack them? Who cares? You suck. Go away.
Yeah,
I've had a lot I wanted to say all week about this.
You know, I talked to
saving it up.
I talked to my stepdad last night, and he's a big Notre Dame fan. I steered away after the college football playoff selection show on Sunday, and even on Monday, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to text him. He's going through enough right now. I called him yesterday, and I'm like, hey, man, sorry about Notre Dame. Not really, but, you gotta be nice to your own stepfather. And he goes, yeah, tough. I'm kind of out on college football right now. I'm like, yeah, But you guys are making a whole heck of a stink about this. Like, listen, you talked about one of the greatest 10-game stretches in college football history. I'm like, oh, you lost the only 2 games that mattered at the beginning of the season.
I was saying to my buddy the other day, like, Notre Dame right now is a trust fund kid.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything in 30 years. They're living off of what Dad and Grandpa did. They're whining when they're not getting all the special attention in the world, and everybody's targeting them. Shut up.
Yeah, no, the ACC, it was a directed attack against us, and we feel betrayed. I'm like, I thought there for a minute, Pete Pavakwa, when he was on his like soapbox, was just going to be like, you know what? Blank the SEC or ACC, we're out of here. Like, just, and I don't. Maybe it might come to that. I'm not sure. Maybe he's calmed down a little bit.
No, he hasn't. I showed you the quotes from his last press conference. I thought that I liked Marcus Freeman.
Now I got my coach being rumored to go to the New York Football Giants.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the next, Leo DiCaprio movie with Martin Scorsese. Marcus is Marcus. This goes on and on. We don't have time for it. It's unhinged what's happening in South Bend.
It's just crazy, man. You lost the first 2 games of the season.
You beat no one.
And you're unfortunately dealing with the repercussions.
You haven't beaten anyone in 30 years. Shut up.
Yes. With that being said, Austin, I had a great time. Nate, I had a great time. You gentlemen have a great rest of the week, all right?
I'm going to do my best.
Murph will be in with me tomorrow. Everybody have an awesome night. The Inside Edge is up next on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
The water's standing in the tub. My toilets will not flush. The smell's getting bad in here. I need help in a rush.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee. It's 93 or free. Guaranteed. Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Do you hate holiday pictures because of your teeth? What if a brand new smile was possible?
No matter what the current state of your mouth.
Welcome to Runyon Dental Group, home of the Implant and Smile Center, where gorgeous, healthy smiles become a reality.
At Runyon, we've built a team of some of the most highly trained arch and implant doctors in the entire nation. This isn't an ordinary dental practice.
We believe that everyone can have a great smile.
Including you, especially you. Your new smile is waiting at Runyon Dental Group.
This is Paul Keels for RV. That's what you get when purchasing your next RV from RV Wholesalers. With every new RV purchase, Ohio residents receive the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. If your RV is in the shop, RV Wholesalers will give you a free loaner. Also with a Buckeye Service Guarantee, you'll receive free delivery in the state of Ohio and 3-day RV exchange. That's the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. Only at RV Wholesalers in Lakeview, Mansfield, Delaware, and RVW.com. RV Wholesalers, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Hosting a passionate crew of Buckeye fans? Revamp your rec room for an epic watch party with power reclining sofas, massaging recliners, entertainment centers, and coffee tables from Bob's. They even have sofas with drop-down tables for snacks and bevs. Shop in-store or online to score big on an incredible game day setup at Bob's everyday low prices. Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.